We have found our way. It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, and this is Free Range, where we graze on wild ideas, and we have wonderful guests. And we have a fun guest tonight, Jenny Lee, who's a seer. She's going to answer your questions on the spot. She's going to give you channeled answers from Spirit. So let me bring Jenny on.
Hey.
Welcome. How are you doing?
How's it going? Good.
Pretty good, pretty good. All things considered. So much going on. You don't almost know where to start about things, really.
Yeah, there is a ton.
It is really. So is there anything in particular you'd like to address right off the bat, or should we?
No, I mean, you can kind of, go over anything you want that you find important and everything.
Well, I think we had recently, there was a big scuttlebutt about the fact that Trump made a remark regarding the Epstein files. Are you still talking about that? And then everybody went bonkers over that. And the fact of the matter is that list has already been out, and don't think that list.
I know. Why is it a big deal? Everybody knew who was on. Why? That's the whole thing. It's just so 3D crap.
And then there were some people that actually, there are some people that are actually innocent, that actually just because they went there doesn't mean they participated in all the skullduggery or whatever you want to call it, the diabolical satanic acts and so on and so forth. So I think that's what Trump really was trying to protect, because people aren't necessarily ready for the whole shebang.
Well, it has to do with the mindset, and they think everything's an app, and they think everybody should know everything. And it's not. We couldn't do the investigations. We couldn't get things done if everybody knew everything. So I think it's very odd that the public's on this side being biased. They weren't the ones doing the work, and they're jumping the gun, and they knew who was on the list in the first place. Exactly. So that's the way I say to them is like, you know what? Do the work yourself. It's not easy work to figure all this out. And I'm talking about the ones that had to be there to figure everything out. Everybody thinks that it needs to be done a certain way, but they're sitting behind a computer judging.
Exactly. They have no idea what our military has gone through doing what they had to do. And
it's not a good. The Epstein list is just knowing that they're going to be on it, knowing that they're already gone, knowing that they're already passed on. Can we get over this and get to the other stuff that needs to be done? Because you're not going to change.
Really,
they're dead. They're dead.
Yes.
They're gone. Get over it. Let's move on. Check.
Exactly. Yeah. And let me see. I just saw something. Somebody said something about fires in the Grand Canyon being cleaned up. I didn't hear that one. I guess I missed that today. Do you know anything about that, Jenny?
No, I didn't know there was fires in Grand Canyon.
I didn't either. I'll put it up there. Fires in Grand Canyon being cleaned out? ? Maybe you could ask Spirit that one. I don't know. I know there's caves and there's areas in the Grand Canyon that people are not allowed to go. And
Right.
it's because
There are devices, there's openings that are happening. And like I said, everything's coming to the surface.
yeah, literally.
Yeah. Everything's coming to the surface. So that's the whole thing, is everything has to come to the surface. And so all these areas that you're seeing that, they keep pulling stuff out of, or, it's that's where we're going. Our original artifacts, our original history is being brought to the surface. So
Exactly.
Grand
And what's
Canyon,
that?
I hear distraction.
Yeah.
First thing I'm hearing. Hear a fire in the Grand Canyon. I'm just saying, burning there. I just want to know.
Exactly.
Another distraction.
Definitely. And then we have more flooding. There was flooding in Ohio and Illinois. That was pretty bad, as I
Okay,
understand it.
Ohio, which is understandable of what's there. And then what was the other one?
Illinois.
Yeah, well, Illinois is dirty too. So those are both dirty. So I think all these flooding, they're clearing out the last bit that they have to clear out. And people think, okay, why do they have to do it the way they're doing it? They're, people getting hurt. And I'm like, so I want to know how people are going to get around doing what we're supposed to be doing, taking care of what we're supposed to be caring without casualties. It's impossible. And
We're at war.
yes, we are. And it's a spiritual war. And that's the whole thing is where are these people coming from? Honestly, what were they guarding? How these rains are coming overnight. And that's the thing, they're not. This is controlled weather, not by the cabal, because they're powerless. But like I said, each storm look for ships. Each storm look for the ships. And we don't want to accept it, because we're like, this is too much to handle. But you've got to open yourself up to what's really going on. That's the whole thing. So, and I said 2 weeks ago, water, water, water. It's all you're going to see for a while. Water.
Trump even told you that. Watch the water.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot. And then get ready for the East Coast. There's going to be some stuff on the East Coast. So it's coming. Wind is coming. Water's coming. Flooding's coming. In certain levels. That's it.
So it's not over yet.
No, it's not. And that's the thing is this world is overly sensitive. They really need a Generation X kick in the ass, honestly, on everything. So, and that's the whole process is we're going to have to hold the line. And if they get so emotional about every little thing that happens, they're never going to get through it at all. We have to get through it. But you were warned over and over about this stuff happening. It's not a shock that there's flooding. It's not a shock that it's taking over certain areas. And, this is what you need to ask yourself. Where's the water coming from? No one's asking that question. No one's asking the question.
Because, for example, they said that the water rose. Well, I've heard two different 26 or feet, and then somebody else said 34 feet in a matter of 45 minutes. Now, how in the heck? There's no way that rain is going to be able to do that.
Water's above and water's below.
Below.
So we are having two different levels that are sinking in together. there's been water that's been a blue, like I talked about that blue, and they're seeing it and they're like, where's this coming from? The water's above. You know, and this is the thing. I mean, there's going to be repercussions for the negative ones, what they've done. And no one knows, and everybody's assuming that everybody in these areas are so innocent. And there is innocence. And I'm not being insensitive. I'm just telling you there's a lot of negative. A lot of it. And we have to stop looking at this in a 3D concept. And the news is just massive because you look outside of the area where what's going on. You look for things that are going on around it. That's the thing you look. You just do the research, you pay attention to the sky, you pay attention to a week before that area was getting drowned out of what was going on. But no one pays attention until they put it in front of you and say, this is what's going on. That's the thing. Everything from the ground in the ocean is surfacing. Mother Earth it's literally puking everywhere. The foundation of what we know is erupting. And the skies above are reacting too. Every day, something new occurs all over the world. All over the world. So this is the thing. There's something that's getting protected in Texas. You know, because, and you want to look in Nevada too, they had that dust storm that went through and put down all those towers. Those are areas the financial system is at. And they know that it has to be implemented on many levels. They have one of the biggest trafficking families in Texas. And they're like another Epstein. And I'm sure when these oceans, or say these waters, reside back, you're going to see some stuff. But I'm just telling you, there's an Epstein family that's doing the same thing in Texas. And you got to see how close it was to the border and the money that it's taken away, what it's doing. The borders are going to get shut down.
They're pretty well shut down now, aren't they?
Yeah, well, there's going to be another level that's coming. There's no
still
in and there's no out. And not until everything's implemented on this process. So, I mean, I've been making people mad because I'm looking at things different, but I only do what Spirit tells me to do in the way I need to do it. And we're distracted on too many things that are over and done with. And this is the thing. This whole thing's not adding up the way it's looking on TV, that you go through a tragic situation. And I worked in OSHA. And I know what it looks like for tragic situations. This ain't adding up for this situation. And I would think there would be a lot more people. If you got that much water, there'd be a lot more people. They would be washing up on the shores. There would be a smell in the air. There would be rotting animal corpse. There would be, you need to look at this, how that water's going, what would happen, what it would build up to, and a contained area with smell would be there. Where are all the animals?
That's a good question.
Where are all the
Even
animals?
in all the pictures, they didn't show any of the animals.
That's what I'm saying. So
They have them.
That's what I'm saying. It's not adding up to what they're, even you're getting close by and all this stuff is happening, it's not adding up. I mean, and they would, on a search and rescue process, you keep looking until you recover everybody. And there's a process with all of that. It seems to be very secure to when they're retrieving them and when they're not. I mean, there's certain vehicles that would be looking for recovery instead of trying to find, ones that are alive. I mean, the people that you see in the trees, there's just happens to have a camera there and they're happen to get that scene. It's all psychological. So it's not up to what's really going on.
I thought you froze there for a minute.
No.
Yeah. Well, did you hear about the one guy who saved like 185 people? One
No.
man?
That'd be great.
That was awesome. Superhero, really. Let me see here. There was a question I wanted to throw at you, but no,
I guarantee it wasn't an NPC.
That's what we're having a lot of problems with those people. I swear.
I'm waiting for that plug to go. I mean, that's the one plug that needs to go. Because once that plug goes, remember I told you the end is not for everybody. Not everybody's getting paid. And if you clear out that percentage of that, it's a big percentage. And not only that, society's figuring it out. Society on their own is figuring out who they're around, which ones are NPCs. Is not going to be shocked the way it is a lot of us. We're not going to be shocked about it. In any way.
But as far as in Colorado too, I guess I haven't. Those are.
Well, Colorado, another distraction. So I'd say again, be looking somewhere else and what they're going after.
Well, the airport in Denver is something else.
This is the thing with a normal storm, with everything happening, the storm comes in, okay, and it moves through and it clears out, okay? They always an end to the storm. For this to reoccur and stay around, it's not in the normal 3D.
No. Let's see. There's a couple questions in here. They're wondering why I'm so sick of hearing about Epstein. Why are people so obsessed with this? People have to move on and stop talking about it. I guess we talked about that a little bit, but
distraction. So they brought this is the thing you guys gotta ask yourself. Now they finally bring out the list that we all know that who was on the list. We already knew all this stuff. It's like almost old news. They're causing conflict with it. What are they distracting you from on that process?
When all that happened, all of a sudden there were like a 1,200% increase in people researching on Epstein after what happened.
Right.
So, but here's the thing too. I mean, let's face it. Everybody wants to know who's on the list, and I don't even know if I should bring this subject up, but it needs to be addressed at some point because it's going to be a part of disclosure, and that is, people think that we're only talking about pedophiles doing, either molesting or having sex. It goes way past that.
The reality of it, working in the field of seeing the trafficking and the child, they look at your child and look at parts that can be sold and how that child can be used and how much money they can make off of it. And they do not care if it suffers or not. Okay, that's the thing. And what you're doing is you're taking the most innocent thing in the universe and looking at it as a complete profit in a human money that is only going to get you to a certain realm, because on the other side it don't matter. But you're going to pay for it for eternity. One drop of blood, one scream, one vibration of pain, you will pay for it.
Oh, they don't like you saying that, Jenny. You just went. You just froze a minute there. I don't know if you knew it or not when you said that. But that's absolutely true. Absolutely true. Uh, People forget it's about the children. It's not about the money. It's not about the flooding. It's not. It's about the children, and they're doing what had. And Gaia is helping.
How they lived every day, worse than animals. What they were exposed to do to survive, what they did to them. There are women that they cut their limbs off, and just because it's a sexual fantasy. Stuff, this is like the freak shows of the freak shows. There is no sympathy and no empathy. And that's what I'm saying. If we do not save the children, there's nothing left to save. You have to look at this in a universal process of how evil this is. If you looked at beings looking into our world, they would look at the go, it is so sick, so disgusting. They have no loyalty for their own kind. And
Yeah, they don't protect their children.
Right. So, and that's why, I often get that one where it's like, flood it again, flood it again, flood it, flood the whole world again. Because if you can't accept that, you can't acknowledge the pain that the kids have gone through, and you have no empathy. That's why living in California and acting like nothing's going on there, and they don't care about what's going on under the ground, and they haven't cared for a long time, and no one's not bringing any light to that, not talking about it, not bringing it up, and just ignoring it. You can't do that. You're bearing the witness of knowing what's underneath your feet, and you sleep at night and saying it's okay. It's not. I couldn't live there. I couldn't do it. I couldn't breathe in it. And so that's the thing. You want to know what's happening to California? California looked the other way. California ignored it. California went along with it. And you wonder, here we go, the Moses situation, flood it. It's going to get flooded because it needs to go straight down to the core of where that was going. And it needs to drown it out. And you know what? All that stuff needs to surface and make it so it looks, they see it in their face. They see the damage. They see what they ignored. They have to take down their bridges, their roads, to get them to pay attention because they're so obsessed with how they're living in California and how the sun is great. Who cares? You ignored the kids. You ignored the pain. You ignored the suffering. Who cares? That's why that storm's coming.
I don't know if people realize they kept kids in cages and electrocuted them and did all kinds of horrible. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, some things I can't even talk about. I wouldn't want to talk about on here. It's so horrific. And that's.
It's got to sit to have the knowledge of knowing, and then it has to sit in your soul, and then you have to, and this is why the denial of it's going to come. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to even acknowledge it. I'm going to ignore it. You can't do that. Animals would treat the babies better than the humans have. They would say, their defensive mechanism to protect them at that. You got, it's getting worse, So what percentage of California, it's just like they don't want to get it. They don't care. And I'm tired of acting like this is, it's something I'm not going to bring up because they've been warned over and over and over. And if they're not talking about it, they're not bringing it up, they're just existing in what has happened in this. And not, your heart has to sit on that. Your heart has to take in that you knew that this was going on. I couldn't do it in any way, in any way. So I just think the repercussions for California are coming.
It's coming all down.
Whether they want to hear it or not, but the weather wasn't worth it. Where you living in that valley wasn't worth it because what they were doing. And to get us public to ignore it.
You see what Julie Beckman said? Texas flood was on Bass family land, not USA land. Their land, like DC, they own Disney World and known
yes,
for child
that's the family.
Do you agree
They're
with
dirty.
That? Yes.
They need to go down. They need to be arrested. They need to be loaded up in white buses too. They own the cops. They own the judges. They own the attorneys.
Oh, I've said
they need to have their land taken away from them. They need to have their accounts frozen. This is bigger than the water.
Yeah, good point, Jenny. Good point. When people actually find out what was really going on to the children, they're gonna be shocked. And
that's the thing. I'm telling you, there's people out there that care about this, and there's people in California that do, but they know the ones that just are oblivious, and they don't have compassion, and they don't pray for the kids, and they have no indication of doing that, and they're just in their own world. That person has a hard time seeing another person react that way, and they're not human at that point.
That's the big thing when you think about that. We have been dealing with entities that have been over our planet and over humanity, and all the religions and all the people, as soon as you start talking about how they couldn't say anything about ETs, they couldn't say anything about UFOs. They didn't want anybody to think that we're the only ones out here on this planet spinning around, an unrealistic.
The planets are on the side of us.
And
no one's gotten through the firmament. No one can go up. You can go in the earth, and there's one way out. That is it. And it's through Antarctica and out through the inner earth. That is it. There is no, the planets are on the side. That's the whole thing. We couldn't leave. So the thing is now, every soul that made a decision to put this on a shelf and ignore it, your soul in some way has to handle that. And what your soul did for acknowledging it. And if you didn't, then it's something inside that you have to deal with. And I'm just saying that because it's a truth. Because every species in the universe makes a choice to either serve the light or serve the dark. It doesn't matter what species it is. It matters what you choose.
Somebody said, okay, wait a minute. I saw something kind of interesting. I haven't heard this. Where'd it go? I lose it. I lost it. It said something about in Pennsylvania, 35 people died all at once on the street, and they were asking if they were NPCs. And
I would think so. And that's what I've been thinking about this week is it's like, you guys, they have to start taking them off. They have to start cutting them out. And it's just a connection that has to be severed. That is it. Completely. So once
Okay, here's
I,
a question.
sever it.
Okay, here's a question. Hi, Gail and Jenny. Do you see LaPorte, Texas? I don't know. Do you know where that is? Having any issues through 2025? We have a lot of chemtrails. It's not just the chemtrails, though. The chemtrails are certainly involved, but so is Gaia. I mean, the water's above and the water's below, just like Jenny was saying. That it's all part
Okay.
of it.
It's illegal to
just.
do any chemtrails anymore. It's illegal to do it. They can't. If they do, they're going to get prosecuted. Or I'm just saying. So I've been telling you that they're clean trails now. I'm not feeling that in the air. I'm not getting that. Just damaged. You can't do this planet the way it is. We have to clean it up.
Okay. This is someone's asking, what's the deal with the young children getting completely freaked out, crying and dropping to the ground when they hear the word Google and Alexa? I don't know.
It might be a program that they have changed in a bad way. So I don't use Google in that way, and I don't use Alexa in that way. So I get that it was used in a bad way, and it could be an evil entity in that way that you're not seeing. So, and it might be also, here we go with the spirituality, seeing it in a different way and sensing and seeing something. You have to understand, on the spiritual side, the light tries to protect these children, and they show them stuff. So they might have seen something that on the surface that we have not seen.
Yeah, that's very possible. Yes, yes, yes. And Wolf Mother is saying the veil has been lifted, my friends. That's why disclosure is happening. And we're very close to full, the tribunal disclosure isn't far away.
For some of us, the veil's not even there anymore. Yeah. Some of us are still seeing the veil, and some of us are not seeing it at all.
Okay, let me see if we can find some more. Well, some things don't make that much sense to me, some of these. Those babies can't be unseen. Photos of those babies can't be unseen. I'm not sure.
Those are minor compared to the other ones.
Yeah, I saw and read about some things that made me almost want to throw up.
You haven't seen anything. You haven't seen a reptilian go after a child.
Did you see there was a video put out by, let's see, McAllister TV, and it says, "Be careful what you wish for." And if you haven't seen it, you really should see it, because one of the things that she does in that video is, toward the end, they start showing with drawings what they actually do to some of these children. And it's the most horrific. It's worse than any horror movie I've ever seen, and I don't like to watch horror movies for that reason. But this is just it's wait till you see it. Just wait till you see it. And all she could do was drawing, because you could not show the video.
Right.
So that's a whole nother
thing. And that's the thing. I mean, it's like I showed the cup under the Vatican and what they do to it thing, and how far they take it, and how pure the blood is. I mean, they go very far for the innocence of it, and how sick they were on, all terrains of it. And this is the point when Trump is talking about, once you find out everything, You're going to find these people, because they're all dead now, because if you could find them, you would bloodedly kill them with a zombie bat out of the movie, because they deserve it.
Yep. And you are actually spared of having to do that because our military has taken care of that for the most part.
Yeah, but when
As
it
well
first
as-
started with the military, it was hard for them psychologically. Had to go through it. They were sick too. They had to have a certain stomach, even the because whatever you have to do, but to see that emotionally and have a heart it's a totally different situation. And that's why when you get into that, just like dealing with a demon, you have to disconnect that emotion side and you just have to focus on what needs to be done. That's the thing that changes. And so here's what's coming. You're going to realize the evil in the world at a different level. Society is not ready to accept that evil that's coming to be seen, to show you. Your neighbors down the street, your doctors down the street, all of them are included in this process. And you're going to be in shock of the people they have to hang or they have to arrest, and there's not going to be a lot left. You have to get used to that. It's going to happen. So they're at a level of understanding, but they're not at a level of understanding how bad it is, and you can't have them here. They have to be contained or hung, because to take the risk again, it's not good. So for society to really look at this, and they say, well, I have an idea of the evil. But when it's up there and you understand, there's like, wow. Anywhere I go, anybody I talk to, and so the whole thing is allowing evil in. Slowly allowed it in, slowly allowed it to contain and control, and then took over.
Somebody is bringing up the fact under the Getty Museum, I've listened to an electrician whistleblower on YouTube 10 years ago trying to save the kids. And a lot of these people that came out that actually did know what was going on, and 10 years ago, frequently after they revealed what they revealed, they were killed. I mean, that's, they get suicided by being shot in the back kind of thing. And it's not suicide by a long shot. But that time is past now. And it's not, it's out there now. It's just out there.
See, okay. Let's talk, Gail, let's talk about this. Okay. And this is personal to me. This is the one subject that's personal to me, because you're looking at the truther community. They're not talking about this.
No, they're not. That's true.
No, that's the thing I don't understand in the heart of all of this. They're worried about other things, but the core of everything is the children. And they don't care. They don't care because it doesn't sell. Who cares? But they're selling your kids.
They're selling their organs. They're taking them out unnecessary. They're torturing them with electricity and keeping them in cages and starving them and doing all kinds of some of the most horrific things you could ever imagine. And nobody's talking about it. Very few people are talking about it.
Right. And that's the thing that makes you understand, where are we going? And are these people leading you down the right path? If they're not talking about this, what do you feel is important to them? I mean, what do they
They're
think
talking
is really
about the money they're going to get. That's what they're talking about.
I know.
And if you say you're not going to get it, you get attacked, because that's what happened to me. And I didn't even say it. I just was a messenger about it. So anyway, that's not the focus. The focus is the children. We've been saying, Jenny and I, we've been saying that for some time. But
And I mean, you know, and that's the thing. I mean, that's why when I do the bell thing, you know, for them, because it has to be remembered. It cannot be forgotten. And the thing is, if you look at all these shows, and this is the people need to remind them, why don't you care about the kids? Why don't you bring that up? Why do you not talk about it? They need to get in their face and ask them that question. But they have control of just pushing them to the side because it doesn't sell.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
That's why. It doesn't sell clicks. It doesn't sell clicks.
Sandra, something Marcia is saying, yes, Ohio is in the top 5 for taking the children. Apparently, 4 ways to get out of the state quick.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody's asking, what's the future for Agora Hills in Southern California?
What's going on there? Is the question.
I don't know what Agora, where that is exactly, except she says Southern California. So, but again, right.
So the thing is, you know, so let's get through this. So you have to ask yourself after all that evidence shows up. So when is if you had to look at society, when is the focus going to be the kids? That's another question. When is the focus going to be the kids? And the thing is, yeah, here's the reply for that. My sponsor doesn't want me to bring that up. My sponsor doesn't want to bring this up because this doesn't bring in money. This brings in people that are involved, that were involved, that don't want it spotlighted at all. Doesn't want to bring it up at all. So that's the whole thing. You have to look at the people now that are not talking about this, that are the truthers, and you have to get it in their face. And you have to remind them, if you do not start talking about this, you might as well start doing what they did to Joe Biden. Start shunning him. Because it's just as bad. It's just as bad. And you have all these healers and all these people they're empathic towards these situations, but it's a subject that gets thrown under the rug.
Yep, brushed under the carpet all the time. And onto a different topic that isn't as relevant. And that's what's just very disturbing. And you're right, it is because of the sponsors who, I mean, I don't have a sponsor. You don't have a sponsor.
Nope.
Because what happens with sponsors, they tend to tell you what you can and cannot say. And just like,
another control.
Yep, exactly.
Another control. But if money controls your soul, you've already sold it. You already made the choice and you sold it.
People got so mad they ignored the children, and all they thought about, they're getting money. They're getting a lot of money. They're getting money. And then I put something out on my Facebook page and a couple other places that it wasn't coming, and I got viciously attacked. I wasn't awake, and I was this, that, and the other thing, and it just kind of shows where the focus is, and it's not on the children, and that's really sad. It's really sad.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like I said, at the end of this, it has to be about that. And whoever they have to take off this plane to get that focus to, and it has to be remembered. The sacrifice has to be remembered as well. And so it's just, I don't know. I mean, like I said, when you have those days and you look at Jesus go, flood it, flood it,
But yeah, I had a really good meme for that at one point in time. I wish I had it available right now.
Yeah.
But see, and the thing about the money is you can't lose something you never had.
Right. Because
So,
their value, their life is saved. They think this is the thing. So people, when you look at this money, they think their life is saved. Your life is saved. Your life goes back to comfort. But this is the thing after this. Say, because a lot of us that are care about the world. Okay, everybody has their money. Now we want to get down to what are we going to do now to preserve this earth? What are we going to do to save it? What are we going to do for humanity? I mean, that's where it goes to. You think you're going to be able just to sit and enjoy and go shopping. No, it's not about that. Money's not about that. The money is about getting you established to start serving and getting things back in order the way it should have been a long time ago. So when you have all these medical conditions that everybody has, well, that's all healed and that's over with. And no one has psychological issues and all that, and that's healed. There is no sitting back and doing nothing anymore. There's no sitting back. There's no excuses. It's time to get up and partake in change. So the money is just one veil of relief that they think that's going to fix everything. But it's not the money that's supposed to fix everything. You're supposed to see beyond that, those fruits of how you're going to serve humanity and help change this world. They're looking at it the wrong way. That's the thing.
how many people have talked about this? This is the most horrific thing you can ever imagine. Frazzle drip. If you don't know what it is, do some research. It is horrendous. You might want to have a puke bucket handy.
So as the weeks go on and I get more direct towards things, because I'm at the point where I expect results, but I expect people to change and look at things differently and start to understand that we've got more responsibility, more work to do. And that's why I've said you have to look at what you know inside after this process, how you're going to serve humanity. Because people are not looking what we have to clean up, because they're encircled in what's going on with them. But look beyond that. Like everything else, look beyond that. What has to change? And people don't want to do it. They want to be concerned in that small circle until we start to look at things in a conscious way altogether, the sufferings altogether, and you got to start to take care of each other in a village way to take care of the village, reach out to the village. And that's the thing that has to change. And that's why I look at, okay, getting the money, but how is that going to change them and their conscience of how they're going to serve? That's the thing that, why is this money not coming in? And I'm like, this is the thing. We have to change how we're processing and thinking we're using this. Just saying.
Somebody's action. Do you think the reason they started up about Epstein was to expose Pam Bondi?
Well, I don't know if that is I don't even think that's her, but yeah, part of it. But It's all tied in one skit play together. I mean, everybody that we would like to kill is dead. Um, being honest. So, and that's the whole thing about this. I mean, it's a line that we all have to cross, and we have to say, you know what? I'm stepping in the line, and I'm risking everything to say we have to find our children. We have to find out what's going on, and I'm not going to stop until I see results. You can't just blow everything off and focus on the XRP and all these other type of wealth and material, because it still doesn't make us a better person when we have this big thing that's still a void of the truth. It just um, pacifies. And that's what the thing is, the deep state did, was just pacify everything, entertain you by sports and movies and everything else while something bad is going on. We have to stop doing that. We have to say, okay, we got our money. Now let's make the core of this the reality of the children. Let's make it a priority to know. When's that the priority?
This is something is that talking about. At least love to, but will the 300,000 or so children that went missing, something where the border patrol released them to the wrong people by accident? Yeah, right. Have they been found? They haven't been found.
And I'm sure with this is they're hidden away in a safe place, and I'm sure they knew where they were before they even started it, and they're probably in a safer place than they had been for a long time. This is what you guys, those kids' stories are going to surface. Those kids' prayers of saying, I just wanted someone to save me. I wanted someone to care. I was praying. You know, that's what's coming. Those kids are not just going to be thrown away and no one's going to be listening to them. Their stories are going to be sent to the front line of telling the truth of how this happened. That's the thing. It's going to sit different with everybody.
Thank you, Connie. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I think this is the way I see, you know, people get funded, and this is the truth. You get funded, you get the money. Okay.
Then you forget again.
Who cares? What is the meaning why you're here? To do something. To do something.
What is your purpose?
So that's what matters.
This is true. Somebody's mentioning to these days, people don't believe that. So when you talk about it, they think you're out of your fucking mind. If they don't hear it on TV, it's not true. I know. Believe me, I've had people say to me that exact thing. Well, I didn't see that on TV. I didn't see that on the news.
Then you say, you know, here's some graphic pictures. Do you want to look at this? And they don't.
Oh, that's not real. it's they don't want to admit it. Maybe, you know, when you know the truth, you feel a duty to do something about it. So if you never know, then you don't have to do anything.
Okay, look at this from a cosmic view. Would you trust humans as they're looking at from a different view, and they're seeing what we're doing and they're seeing what we're ignoring? Why would they want to step in line and interact with us? Because they're like, they can't even take care of their own. They can't even take care of the innocence of the children. See, looking at it, the view in different angles of this situation needs to be seen. So the putting their time and effort into communicating with us is they think there's a process of needs to be completely, we need that Men in Black light going, hey, guess what needs to happen? Zip. Honestly, reprogramming. Because
I think you froze, Jenny, for a minute anyway. Jenny's temporarily frozen. I just saw a question that I wanted to bring up, and it scrolled on by so fast. And let's see if I can find it again. Somebody said, move. Oh, this is something I'd like you to address, Jenny, and that is that when, oh, wow, she left. Maybe she'll come back in a minute or so. Hopefully. Wow, okay. What happened there? There you are.
I don't know. I saw,
so weird.
I saw you go out and I saw me go out, so I don't know.
Yeah, you were frozen for a little while. Somebody was saying, I want you to address this, Jenny, because this is somebody just said in the chat, and I can't find it, but anyway, that get off the negative talk, ladies. Beyond, we need to be positive. It's like, okay, it's all love and light. No, it's not all love and light.
You want to be positive. Walk in my shoes a day and tell me how positive I need to be to look at everything I've been looking at. I'm looking at files that I have to look at. So there's times to be positive, but there's times to be truthful and raw about the situation. This is another form of denial. Change the subject. I feel too uncomfortable with this subject because I haven't dealt with it in my soul, the true issues that have happened. I don't care.
Exactly.
Go to the love and light people. Let them tell you all the bullshit that they got going on, because it's bullshit. So I'm just telling you, we're done in dealing with that. It's time for the truth.
And that includes some ugly things that maybe you don't like to hear and nobody likes to hear, but it has to be heard, because until it won't change.
How does it change? We talk about it. You don't let people forget. You let them be remembered. You ask for answers finally and push through. And the ones that you look for information, you ask for answers and you don't let it go. That's why. So tell that to that child's soul. Tell that to that child's soul that's sitting in a cage.
Okay, she says, but Jenny, so many people have no clue it is about the children. So many people are unaware. Just look at all the young souls. They have no clue what is happening.
They do have a clue. They know it's there because they're in denial. And the program on TV makes them understand that we don't have to talk about this. It's that narcissistic attitude that we can move on to something else. And that's the whole thing. See, society has to make a choice and make it a priority. And I think people are afraid that they're going to sound crazy. Who cares at this point? It's your soul that has to start making choices on the right reasons. So it has to be voiced. It has to be put out there. It has to be led in the light. It has to be conversated. You know, it can't
And that's why
be
all these other so-called truthers, they're not talking about it.
because people like, why do we have to talk about this? Because we have to. There's always that, we have to cross that line. And we have to stay on that side of the line, and we have to be tough, and we have to take the swords, and we have to take the knives that come at us. But we have to start talking about this.
Where did that just go? This chat is really weird here today because I keep trying to scroll back for something and it won't let me.
We have to talk about it. You know, so and the thing is, you know, and I don't know, I mean, there's stuff I could put out there in a different way, in a different level. And this is the problem. Society's like, oh, I don't want to hear it. When is the right time to hear it? You know, and the kids are like, when are we the priority? Because all they have is prayer when they were sitting in those cages. All they had was hope when they were sitting in those cages, that someone would save them or think of them or not forget them. So, yeah, this is the subject tonight.
God is waiting for his people to wake up and see this as a spiritual war, and his people need to bring all this light so we can stop the harm against the children, bring the inner injustices out.
Right. Exactly. So it brings a barrier that is uncomfortable. But we have to be uncomfortable for a while because they were very uncomfortable in the position that children were put in. It's okay for us to be uncomfortable for a while. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to protect them.
I'm going to chance. There must be a way I could slow this down a little bit. I don't know what it is right now.
We can talk about some other subjects since we went on that pretty far, but the point is it has to be a priority now.
Absolutely. Everybody needs to know about it.
Exactly.
And have to get over the idea you don't want to hear it because it's negative. Damn right it's negative. Couldn't be much more negative. Nothing changes unless it's disclosed. Just like they were ready to, as I understand it, on July 4th, they were ready to kill 280,000 people, but because it was exposed, it was neutralized. Okay? Now, the same is with children. This isn't going to stop until it's exposed and everybody knows about it and they can be doing something about it and watching and reporting and
Right.
Again, well, will many wake up? We're dealing with a lot of NPCs, and that's a big problem. Big problem.
Exactly.
And they're getting more aggressive and angry because things are changing.
Yeah. They're dysfunctioning. And their programming, it's not reaching to a program, and they don't know what to say, and then they dysfunction in that whole process that you're seeing in front of you. Completely. So, yeah, it's and that's where we're going. I mean, these storms that are coming, each storm that you have to ask yourself, what is under the ground? What were they clearing out? What is it they didn't want us to see? What is it they have to clean up? And Trump told you, if I have to burn the whole damn world down to get to the truth, I will do it. And he has to. Because why would you want to live in such an evil place?
That's why Melania didn't even want to go into the White House, because of all the ugliness that goes on underneath the White House. She knew. Trump knows.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's saying, Rosalie is saying, Jenny, a lot of people are in survival mode and they do not have a clue about the children, really no clue. As 10 people and maybe one person knows, this needs to come to the front. That's exactly what we're saying. And that's why we're also saying all these truthers and everything, they're not talking about it.
No, they're not. But no one's demanding them to talk about it either. They're worried about the Galaxy Federation and who's fighting there and who's the captain and who's leading everything. Who cares? You can't fix this down here. You're not going up there. That's what they'll say.
This is a problem.
Fix the mess that's here.
This is a problem too. I see this. I've seen this myself. Pat tried to tell my mom about the children, but she doesn't want to hear it because she doesn't believe people can be that evil.
Well, then you give her pictures and say, here's a puke bucket. Give them pictures. If they're not going to listen to it, start to give them pictures. And maybe that's what we need to be all over the streets now, is the graphic pictures of what's going on.
Yeah, if that's what it's going to take. Now, Nathan Reynolds, he's good. He's come out and he has a story. And Jesse, I don't know how to say his last name, Bloodline, high up with Lucifer, have been the most mind-blowing today ministers for Jesus Christ. I need to see what people and old friends are jerks. I don't know about that. But,
so what I was realizing the other day, I talked about yesterday, but when I got in a tremendous accident when I was 4, and I was in the hospital, and in the same room back then, they didn't have individual rooms, but I remember in the pain that I was in at the age of 4 and hearing another child that was younger than me crying and screaming, and I know it was going to die. I knew it was going to die. And the father is one, its own father did that to the child. And that tone of hearing that vibration, a long time ago, Spirit was like, has already set forth what you were going to do. And so the thing is we all have to see this through until it is annihilated from our planet. This taking the innocence away, and our children can feel safe in this world. That's the thing. That has to be a priority of bringing that back.
Spiritual bypassing is another way of putting it. That's the love and light community. The false light. There's a lot of false light out there.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, a lot of the situations, they had the experience. You get into a situation, but you get into a negative situation, they're gone. There's a certain point. It's not about just doing the work on the screen. It's about doing the work when nothing is happening on YouTube, and you're working on that daily. That's the whole thing. It's not about performing. It's about doing the work. So.
What do you mean by the work, Jenny? People might be asking that.
Well, I mean, for myself, after I get off here, I have appointments, I talk about things, I deal with missing persons cases. I mean, my office, these files, most of these files are cases. I mean, the other day, it took me 3 hours just to go through all the files. Just to, and that's the thing. It's just, and looking at stuff that's happening all the time. And I have process that I'm backlogged waiting for certain things to happen, like with the Masons, because they're holding information, they're holding back where all these bodies are. And it's just the whole thing. It's about exposing the truth again. And so people are, they're doing healings and stuff like that, and they're helping with that. But what I'm saying, as in, it's after you get off YouTube, what else am I doing to help people? Or what am I supposed to be doing? It doesn't just stop when the camera goes off. That's the thing. You keep going. We're not sleeping. So it's something that has you keep going. So won't stop until everything's done.
I have a lot of intel too, and I might have to put it out. Anyway.
Yeah, it's behind the scenes. It's the details. And it makes people feel uncomfortable about talking about that. If I brought all the files I had and started talking about the cases, that's the thing. You have to pick and choose.
Does your dog want to go outside?
Hold on. Oh, she wants to go for the cats.
Somebody's asking, what can we do besides pray for the children?
The pictures,
Okay.
putting it, exposing it. This is where, when I teach OSHA to get people's attention, because no one takes anything serious until it's in front of their face, until the details are in front of their face. So the graphic pictures are important now. If you can get those on the internet, and Facebook isn't the same. One face, one story. It's one story at a time, but it starts a conversation, and then people share that. That's the thing. That's what can change. About that being priority on everything, and not the XRP. And that's the thing, and not being entertained. It's the milk carton situation, as in literally reminding people of this one soul, and that one story starts a trickle effect of everything. And that a person doesn't have to have a special gift to do that. Just the drive to say this message needs to be presented and put out there. This cannot be forgotten. That's the thing that needs to be. All the people that I work with missing persons, all of that stuff, they need to come together in one big group process and say, yeah, there's a lot, but there's another step that we can go further on this process and start to share this, because those are the people that see this stuff every day and know what's really going on. And there's a step of a layer that we need to talk about. It needs to be talked about. We're down to, it might freak people out to see graphic images, but it needs to be seen.
If that's the only thing that's going to wake them up because they refuse to look at it from any other or for any other reason, then they need to be shocked into the truth. And that's part of what may be happening.
That's exactly what I have to do for training. I had to show them their hands being cut off or being fried or whatever, but that got them to wake up. That's what has to happen.
there was, oh, I don't even know if I can talk about it. There were one of the drawings on McAllister TV, and she's also one that had Christian 21 on, a long time ago. And he does have an accent, so I found it a little hard to understand. But anyway, she came out with one recently, and she had these drawings. And one of the drawings was a child was there, and chopped off his hand and was sucking the blood out of the arm.
Mm-hmm.
That's just one little example. And then they actually have an instrument that can remove the brain.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually consume parts of that in the child while the child is still alive and awake. How do you like that?
Yeah.
That.
If they can get their hands on that blood, that's the.
So when you got the audacity to sit there and tell me you don't want to hear about it, and it continues to go on because you don't want to hear about it.
Mm-hmm. This is the thing, and tonight was not about bringing this up, but this is a subject that's sitting at the end of my soul, and spirit's going, they're not talking about this, Jen. I mean, we've tried a delicate approach, spirit says. We've tried to put it out there in certain stories, but it needs to be a conscience that needs to change and put it out there. And I'm going to be happy when all the sponsors are gone.
Yeah.
I am.
Because that's censorship.
Yeah.
And so with fact checkers, that's just another form of censorship.
Yeah. That's all part of it. In every way. That's all they want to do. So, yeah,
because that's censorship,
and you can't, get them to pay attention to the right stuff.
Okay, here, question to Jenny. Do you think there is a way these people will not face karma for the pain they caused as they put it in movies, or do something to not face bad karma and find a loophole?
No, there is no loophole, because it's if that entertains someone and they know that it was a real process, you have to deal with, it's still a sacrifice of a knowledge of knowing. There's no loophole of getting out of karma for doing something bad. There's no free ticket. You got to deal with the truth and be honest about it.
Yeah.
No matter what, you got to be honest.
The truth ain't pretty, and that's for sure.
No. So yeah, I didn't know we were going to go on this serious subject, but it's just the way Spirit rolled it out, because it's a storm in a different way. So these pictures of these kids are your keys. Their pain, their suffering, to connect with the soul's eyes and say, hey, look at me. I suffered pain. Someone needs to recognize that.
This is what the end will not be for everyone. And a lot of them will be NPCs.
Exactly.
And they're really, I agree about this. I think it's coming pretty soon. There needs to be an EBS. The sleepers don't believe us. That's true. They don't. Yeah, so many people don't have any clue about what's going on around them. That's so true.
They don't.
Yeah.
But at some point you see the change coming. Our world's changing. It's not that they don't see it. It's they choose not to want to do the research to look for it.
Somebody has just asked.
It's inconvenient for them.
Oh yeah, definitely. Poor babies. Can you see if Mount Rainier in Washington State will erupt soon, and what time frame?
I do think it will, but not to a degree of what we're thinking. Because there's so much going on in the earth, and I don't think we're going to have this major eruption because there's so many of them going. So I do feel each one is letting steam go, and but it's not going to be that bad.
Thank you, Mary Jones. I will not rest until the truth is revealed. We are stronger together. And that's humanity needs to come together, and because there's a collective, the alchemy of our collective consciousness is extremely powerful, but we got to face the truth.
Yeah,
and
that's the thing.
Yeah, this is true too. The money is the matrix. That's a good way of putting it. It is. I swear.
When they say dirty money, everything's, money is dirty. It's just dirty. But that's the whole thing. That's what I'm saying. Just say everybody on the XRP, everybody that invested in it, say everybody has money. Okay, you got it. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to help? That's what I say. That's the thing. How do you volunteer after that? My heart has to. My soul has to. It has to give. It has to finish this to the very end. To the core of me. It has to.
David.
And I'm not going to be at peace until it's completely done.
David Bentley says, be not in the head, but in the heart. And that's where the problem is. People are in their head and not their heart.
In the head.
And that interferes with your heart.
Yeah. And so...
so this is good to know. Louis Herms is the only one I hear talking about the children these days. Well, that's good to know. I haven't seen anything from him recently, but that's good to hear.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yep. I mean, not even YouTube, but even radio shows, they're not talking about it either. Yeah. And I used to do a lot of old radio shows and stuff like that, and they're not talking about it either.
And you'll find probably that most people that got the Jabberwocky, they have changed their personality, and they're not going to want to talk about it much either, unfortunately. So that's another issue. But we need to wait.
It is, and I just, this is the thing, Gail. I can't stay on this earth in this way unless this is solved. I'm just literally telling you, it's just to the core of me that it has to be revealed in every way. There's some people can just live with it. I can't do it. I can't stay here just thinking and existing unless it's discovered or done or finished or completed. I can't do it.
EBS, everyone needs to know this shit. And I agree with you. I hope it happens soon. 2 million children a year. 2 million children.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more than that. Depends if you're just talking about the United States or you're talking about the whole planet. It's just unbelievable. Right. The numbers are...
these bigger platforms, they just need to bring it up. They just got to bring it up.
I haven't seen much discussed on Nino Rodriguez, 107. Some of the bigger people, they just don't talk about it.
This is the thing I look at it, and Spirit's telling me in my head right now. When I'm in front of them, and they've helped and served humanity in the way they see it. And then the only thing that I can see Spirit saying, what about my children? What about my children? What about the children? That's the only thing I can see. It was the priority, that was importance. What about the children? That's the top level.
And what did Jesus say about anybody that harms a hair of the child? They should be millstone around their neck and thrown in the ocean.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So, yeah. So this is more of a serious subject tonight, and the information needs to be, but it's going to come. The graphic part of it, and I think the white hats know too. There's just no way around it.
yeah. My people will perish by lack of knowledge, and that is so true. Yes, I'm yelling. Maybe the dummies will wake up. Military family here. It is. Ignorance is darkness, and knowledge is light.
Right. Right. And that's what I don't understand on the collective side. I want you to say this. On the collective side of all these people, they're supposed to be in sync as healers, and you would be getting this message all the time. What about my children? What about saving the children? What about talking about the children? The Spirit, I mean, that's all I hear. It's all, the bottom line is about that. The adults have to heal. We have to do certain things, but this is because it's like a residual energy that's not noticed. Not, and that's why I can't understand if you would take that energy that they have, the capability that they have, and they would put light into that. And that's the whole thing about this. When I work from case to case, that's the first thing I ask. I go, you just help me figure out what I'm supposed to do with this. You figure out how I'm supposed to solve it. You figure out how I'm supposed to work in it. Because your thoughts have a strong power in a direction as a healer, and that's the whole thing. If they're in tune to that and tapping into that realm that's there that talks about this, and that you sense that, and that would be the first thing. But again, on that level, it's not brought up either. And for me, with Spirit, if I'm not doing something, it's in my ear, it's on my side, it's you have to get it done. I mean, it's just, it doesn't stop. So I don't know. I don't understand that.
Well, we're getting up. We're at 128 minutes. We're going to have to ring the bells and go.
Yes, we are. Let me find mine.
I know, I almost couldn't find mine, but I found it. And 17 is a spiritual
so
number.
This has been, so the only thing I could tell people, don't give them a choice anymore. Be in their face, ask the questions, be raw with it, be tough with it, and say, no, we're not throwing this under the carpet no more. You're using your platform to spread the truth now. Don't give them a choice anymore.
Yes.
Or you can shun them and do what the military does, is turn your back on them. Because if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they're not if you're not loyal to the children, who are you loyalty to?
Exactly. And you can call out these truthers about the children and ask, why aren't you talking about the children? Put it in their questions, put it in the comments, call them out. That's the only way we're going to get it out of here. Participate. Right. Do what you can.
Yes.
So we better ring our bells, I guess. Okay. This is for the children.
Okay. These are for the children. This is what's important.
I guess we'll say thank you for being here and thank you for listening to us talk about things people don't like to talk about, but they have to be talked about. And
Right.
Jenny and I are more than happy to talk
Exactly.
about it and make other people talk about it. You have a voice, use it. You know, call them out.
Exactly.
So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time.
It's definitely time. And we'll see you again soon. Thank you so much for being here.
We have found our way. It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers, stronger than ever. Never say never. Don't look back now. Don't look back now. Rise up, stand with each other. We are sisters and brothers, finding our place and running the race. We'll take our chance and seize the moment. Hold on tight and don't let go of all your hopes and dreams that light the way. We control our fate. Destiny awaits. We are all the actors in the stories we create. Hope will be our guide. We'll no longer hide. When we roll like thunder, feel the wonder from inside. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors.